David Casey.
Sorry, it was a little tight getting through the hallway out there. So thank you. We are honored to sponsor and support this gathering of this brain trust in the room, and those who may have been plugged in online or however else they're going to be viewing the session. As we think about workforce strategies and the skill sets that we're going to need tomorrow that we actually need today, registered apprenticeship is a big part of that. And you heard Eric talk a lot about that. We've had a long-term partnership and relationship with the DOL, registered apprenticeship. You heard Susan talk about the need to make it scalable, and I'll talk to you about how we plan to do that at CVS Health. But I think a big part of that is having organizations like CVS Health convene meetings like this, where we can talk about what we are doing so that other organizations can learn from that. I do applaud the DOL for making it a lot easier to engage in the registered apprenticeship process over the years. They put some things in place to make it a lot easier for both organizations and the training partners that we have to engage in this work to scale and expand it. So it's one thing to talk about registered apprenticeship and these kinds of programs in generalities, or to talk about them at a high level, but it's another thing to really put a face to these programs and to bring them to life. And that's what we're going to spend just a few minutes with you today doing. And I'm joined by Tony Price, who's one of our registered apprentices and pharmacy technician at CVS Health. We've engaged about 1,500 registered apprentices over the years at CVS, and we've committed to doubling that to about 3,000 over the next several years. And we've primarily focused so far, or to date, on pharmacy technician roles, and we've recently expanded into South Carolina. And we have pharmacy technician programs in South Carolina, as well as store manager trainee programs in South Carolina, and that's where Tony helps from. So Tony, I'm just going to ask you to share with the group a little bit about your experience. You're a little different than I think we typically tend to talk about as far as demographics when we think about registered apprenticeships. More times than not, we will go into folks who are early in their career, maybe even first career. But that wasn't your situation. You were not. This was not a first career for you. And as a matter of fact, CVS wasn't even your first foray into pharmacy. So can you talk a little bit about your career trajectory and the why and how you ended up in registered apprenticeship?
Good morning, DC. I'm the old man in the room. We started off about 30 years ago working in the mills like my entire family had done for 3 generations. What the economy did to the textile industry in the South, and found myself looking for a life career change. And for some reason, I had gravitated toward pharmacy, just I'm not sure why, bug in the back of my head. And as David pointed out, CVS was not my first choice. I had technical education, worked for an independent pharmacy, and it was on the floor, so here's a bottle, go to it. And that didn't work out very well. After about 6 months, I told them pretty much what they could do with their prescriptions and walked out. And ended up at CVS. And right close by that house, 15 miles from the road. And found out about the apprenticeship program, which actually gives you the tools you need every day to just find out what you need to do to make the process happen.
So what's that journey been like for you? What was it like to give up something you had known for 30 years to move into a different space?
I wish I had done it sooner. Math was the devil. After 30 years out of high school, it was rough, but it's something I wanted to do.
When you think about, Eric talked a lot about the benefits of registered apprenticeship, the fact that it is a structured program, you have a set of identifiable and credential skills, right? What's been the biggest benefit for you? What's been the most value for you in having gone through a registered apprenticeship program?
I don't want to say job security because I can take this anywhere. I'm national and state certified.
And what would you recommend to other folks who are considering registered apprenticeship? Maybe in a similar situation to you. I mean, and they may not even be in a situation where they've already lost their job or they've seen their job go away, but it could be forecasted that there may be a decline. I'm sure, your family, again, have been in the textiles business for many, many years. And you probably saw the handwriting on the wall before you were actually faced with the reality. So what would you say to folks who may be in a similar industry sector where jobs may be going away? What would you say to encourage them to make that leap into registered apprenticeship?
Don't wait till tomorrow, do it now.
And what about employers? What do you think the biggest benefit for employers is?
Well, you got a group of people that know what is expected on a daily basis. Everybody in the room is working towards the same goal. And there's really no gray areas.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, as Tony mentioned, one of the biggest benefits and values for us as an employer is that we do know what skill sets we're getting with the registered apprentice. We do have a number of programs in place that target youth hiring, mature worker programs, veterans, people with disabilities, the immigrant community, faith-based programs, incumbent worker programs. So we get a lot of value out of that. So the thing that really stands out for us with registered apprenticeship is that we know exactly the skill sets and the credentials we're getting because it's consistent. It's just like any other certifiable and stackable skill set. So that's why we actually are looking to expand beyond the 1,500 or so pharmacy technician jobs. We're also looking at IT. We're looking at other allied health positions. We are a federal contractor, so we do hire lots of military. We're looking at expanding into CDL. There are hundreds of, I think when many people think of registered apprenticeship, there tends to be this notion that it's only the skills trades. And that is a big part of it, but it's not only the skills trades. There are hundreds of apprenticeable, that's kind of a hard word to say that 5 times. There are hundreds of apprenticeable skill sets and career paths that companies can undertake, which I think is something that we need to do a better job of really marketing as well. Because I think a lot of organizations think, well, I don't hire blacksmiths, I don't hire electricians, I don't hire plumbers, so I can't get involved in registered apprenticeship. But that's not true. And the only way we're going to get to doubling our commitment to registered apprenticeship is to start looking at some of these other career paths outside of just the pharmacy technician role that we've had today. So with that, I think we have just a few minutes left. I did get the 5-minute signal here. So we're willing to take 1 or 2 questions if we have time for that before we jump to the next section. I think there's one back here.
Hi, my name is Stephen Buckley. I'm from the Institute for State Effectiveness. And I'm just interested to hear what you're saying about apprenticing other, let's say, parts of the company. I'm just wondering, do you think there's a risk if you apprentice, if you put, like, let's say, the IT sector, the IT part of CVS into apprenticeships that are kind of people who would be going into an entry-level job would be going then into an apprenticeship? I say this because in Ireland we have a job bridge scheme where I recently saw that the Department of Justice were offering apprenticeships, but they were looking for a lawyer through the apprenticeship scheme, and I think it was justified by the government because it was giving jobs, but a friend of mine who's a lawyer died because, well, it's a different system, but do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you think there's a risk of that happening?
Yeah, I don't see it as a risk, and I think it depends on what career pathway you're talking about. I mean, I don't think neurosurgeon's ever going to be an apprenticeable profession. But when you think about the jobs that we're looking at, these are what are often considered middle skills jobs. Jobs where you're going to need probably something a little bit more than a high school degree or equivalent, but not quite a 2 or 4 year college degree. So from that standpoint, if you're really focused on those jobs that are really considered middle skills jobs, I don't think it's a risk. I don't think you're dumbing down in the professions at all. That's one of the benefits of the registered apprenticeship program. Again, there are some certified and consistent skill sets and criteria and competency models that have to be met before it can be a certified apprenticeship. So it's not just a certificate. It's a certificate backed up by a set of skill credentials. So I don't think it's a risk for middle skills jobs at all. Did that answer your question? Okay, kind of, sort of. You were. I think there was a question up front here as well.
Hi, I'm Kimberly. Kimberly from the National Farmers Association, and I really appreciate hearing this. What is the advantage to CVS Health to going around and advertising your program to potentially your competitors, and what benefits does that have to you?
We just have to do it better than they do. But yes, I think Eric may have spoken to this earlier as well. We certainly don't anticipate that everybody that we put through a registered apprenticeship program is going to spend their career at the company. We hope that's the case. We certainly hope Tony's going to spend out the rest of his career with us. But we know that's not the case. You have turnover. So just like anything else, programs are great, strategies are great. It all lies in the execution. We have a team of people called Workforce Initiatives that's dedicated to managing these programs. When you're thinking about registered apprenticeship programs, and there are situations where folks may be making a career change or early career or new in their career, they need what I like to call surround sound support too. So it's not just enough to say, come work for us every day, punch in from 8 to 5 and do your job. Sometimes folks need some help with career coaching. You're talking about early career and the opportunity gap, or the needs that Susan referred to earlier, the opportunity gap youth, and there's all kinds of names for that talent segment. They may need help with childcare. They may need help with transportation. It may be their first time working in a professional setting. So we do have a team of folks, and I'm not going to give you all the secret sauce on how we manage that, but we do have a team of folks dedicated to making sure that we're not just hiring people, but we provide that surround sound support once they make that move. So I think the difference lies in execution. And I think do we have time for one more? There's one more question.
Hello, my name is Li Yang. I think Apprentice program that by itself is really not new. I think way back centuries ago, we have construction workers. That is really Apprentice. And I think if we are saying Apprentice, we should not say violation of the capitalism principle, which is competition and fairness. Currently, what I'm seeing is that the apprentice, everything is listened to the employer, their supervisor, rather than doing the job. So it can be depend on what the employer want the potential worker to do, whether that is really do the job or really do some dysfunction. Currently, private and public, both sectors are doing something what I call disservice. So I just wonder if the Department of Labor or Justice can work together, promote the competition and fairness to allow everybody from high school for a potential career rather than say set up a potential apprentice for a specific sector or employer.
And that's beyond my pay grade and my skill set. So yeah, I think you bring up a good point, but that's actually probably a question better answered by the Department of Labor and DOJ. So we fall in between partnering with those two, but I'll have to defer to that to one of our colleagues at the DOL who are here today. Thank you for bringing that up. All right, so thank you again for coming out today. Thank you for this important and timely conversation.